Good. Looks like you're in cold climate like me. We got an inch and a half of snow today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
There might have been there might have been half an inch here yesterday. I'm in Casper, Wyoming.
there you go.
So it's nice and crisp. Nice and
Yeah.
crisp. Yeah,
Good.
cool. All right, we got some people starting to join in, so we'll get started. So for everyone, this is Roofer2Roofer. Scott and I are here to answer your questions about the roofing industry, about the roofing business. We both have many years experience in the roofing industry from two different sides. Scott being the owner of Rainstoppers Roofing, me being on the tech side, working in my co-founder's business and then starting ProLine. And so lots of experience here. So hit us with your questions. There's a Q&A area at the bottom of Zoom and you can submit your questions there and we'll answer those. Otherwise, we will be answering our own questions from our list. We have a list of questions that we've put together, but we would absolutely love to answer y'all's questions instead of our own. So if you have any questions about any aspect of the roofing space or the roofing business, just need some advice, need another take or a perspective, let us know and we will happily answer that instead of what we have on our list. So let me get our list and I'll get a question for us to start with. All right, so this is a good question to start with. How can I effectively use warranties as a selling point when I'm selling roofs?
Hopefully you're backed by the manufacturer that you've chosen to work with, and you know you're able to offer an extended warranty that would essentially be better than your competition's. And bring more value to the table than your competition, can potentially bring, thus bringing either a higher close rate or a higher targeted price point for your roof compared to theirs. We actually went and did we upped our in-house warranty. So our base model roof system is a 5-year turnkey warranty, which kind of eliminated some of the starter level manufacturer warranties that we were having to pay for. We just went ahead and said we're just going to include those at no extra cost to the customer. But we still offer an upgraded warranty system through GAF for us, 25-year workmanship, 50-year on material. And there's a lot of situations where we go into a bid and we're the only contractor that's offering that particular warranty package. And there's a lot of customers that are shopping for, you know, that high-end roof system that comes with a high-end warranty. So right away we separate ourselves from the competition and we close jobs because of it.
I like that. Before I before I jump in, just for everyone joining us, we are here to answer your questions about the roofing space. I see we do have a question, so we'll hit that next. Um, But if you guys have any questions about the roofing industry, the roofing space, the roofing business, you got almost 20 years of experience here between Scott and I. Me on the tech side, Scott on the business side. So hit us with your questions. But we've just started with one of our questions that we have on our list, and then we're gonna hit the ones that I just saw submitted next, and then whatever else comes in after that. But Scott, so I was gonna ask, so that makes total sense. What do you think of adding additional types of warranties, like, for example, what Directory has to offer, where they have the $20,000 cover, I believe that's what it is still, the $20,000 coverage warranty. And but then there's an additional cost to to the contractor that I guess you can pass along, but there is an additional cost for that as well.
Yeah, so I don't want to speak out of turn because it's been a minute since I looked at directory. We are a directory contractor, and I think what they're doing is fantastic. I think the idea is great. I think the value to the customer. I believe for the $20,000 warrant guarantee, it's a very minimal cost. We don't pass that on to our customer. We add that into the cost of doing business category. It's just fluff that we just eat, and it's just part of it.
Yeah.
They offer an upgraded option for customers who apply, like I said, don't quote me because I don't want to be taken out of context, but I think it's like 200 up to $250,000 guarantee. So I believe the way it works is something along the lines of you go in and you screw the job clear up and you damage a bunch of stuff and they have a bunch of damage to their property. I believe directory guarantees that, if you pay for that extended coverage for the $250,000, that does come with some cost that you would want to build into that project. But the $20,000 one is I believe it's just part of the monthly fee to be a member, which is
Hmm.
pretty insignificant amount. So
Yeah.
we've definitely gotten some leads from it. It's another badge of honor also. So like in your email handle, in your signature, we've got GAF President's Club, GAF Master Elite, Directory Certified, Google 5-star, blah 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 blah. Like you can also embed those badge of honors into your website right at the top. Our friend John Starry, I was working with him a little bit today on some stuff. He was actually helping me with some stuff. Um, and you look at his stuff and like all the badges that he's earned, best of Tampa, directory certified, blah, 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 all those great things. He's got those suckers on every quote template. He's got them in his website. He's got them in his email signature. It's just it's just something else to speak to your dedication to the business, So I think it's huge. I think even if you don't use directory as if you're not gaining a ton of leads from it, which we're having success with it personally, I think it's great. I think it's a really, really good thing. But just having that badge saying that you're directory certified up to $250,000, like, hey, that's just another sales tool in the bag.
Yep. Yep. That's makes total sense. Cool. So let's move on here. For those just joining, this is Roofer to Roofer. We're here to answer your questions about the roofing business. Me from the tech side and Scott from the business side, being a contractor. So we got our own questions, but we're also excited to answer your questions. So we're about to jump into some of your questions here. So that we have a question here from someone that was anonymous. Has anyone attempted re-roofing with the GAF Energy Solar Shingles? Why or why not? Scott, you got any experience with them?
So I went to a JF conference earlier this year, and they were kind of really promoting those. I was over in Maryland to go to it, which they are live in Maryland, but it is not yet available um, in my area. So no, I haven't, but I have kind of demoed the product and got to really put my hands on it and see it firsthand. It's I'm on a list. Like as soon as they bring that to my market, we're definitely going to be testing that out because it looks fantastic. So the way that works with GAF, from what I understand, this was about 6 months ago, but from what I understand, remember, they have in-house electricians, which is this is the key to solar for most roofing contractors. Most of us roofing contractors, we don't want to be electricians. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't even want to work with electricians. Like, I don't want to have to sub out electricians and deal with all that. So, GAF, the way I understand it is if you sell a solar roof, you do the install, their in-house electrician or their third-party electrician, whatever that is, that's a GAF partner, comes and does all the wiring and hooks it up to the house. So, to me, if it's a no-brainer. Like if you can get into that program, that makes total sense. And not to say they can't change that and how they've got that structured, but I know where I'm at in my market, they didn't have that back end stuff built out yet to have the certified electricians in our market yet. So it wasn't offered here yet, but I fully plan on selling it when it gets to my market.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That's their direct answer to like Tesla roofs and stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, love it. All right. Next question here is from Ricky. He's just saying the $20,000 free for directory, and then the down payment coverage. Um,
So yeah, that's on directory. It basically covers any deposit, that 20 grand. covers that customer if they give up to a $20,000 deposit, and the contractor flakes, directory essentially will step in and take care of that deposit. Is I believe what he's saying.
Yeah, yeah, deposit coverage. That makes sense. Cool. All right. For the couple people that just joined us, this is Roofer to Roofer. We're here to answer your questions about the roofing business. Um, anything you have, we'd love to talk about. So please put that into the Q&A bottom of Zoom. Otherwise, we'll just keep going through our questions here. We have a question here from Jack. Where do we find out more about that directory certified thing? Let me drop a link. So yeah, directory is great. It's Dmitry Lipinski's software company. And I'll just type the answer here. This should everyone should be able to see this now in the answered questions. So yeah, we have an integration with directory. So any leads that come through directory go straight into ProLine. You can put them into a speed delete campaign. It's great. And then you have all those benefits with the coverage and you have the badge and all that. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Would you contact the previous roofing contractor to find out why they stopped accepting leads? Would you contact the previous roofing contractor?
And then it says for the solar shingle leads. I don't quite understand that question too much.
Yeah, so whoever asked that, if you would clarify that a little bit more, we'd appreciate it. We'll just remove this for right now. But if you can retype that question, we're happy to address it. Justin Pierce says, look into Certainty Solar also. It looks like a better product. Oh, that's interesting. Do you have any familiarity with that yet, Scott?
No, again, there's not
Well,
hardly any solar installers in my area in the first
yeah,
place. We see very little of it happening in our market. So my preview to it's I wouldn't even know, honest to God, I wouldn't even know about the GAF stuff if I wouldn't have went to the specific GAF conference, honestly. So um, I'm sure it's a great product. I mean, Certainty makes great products just as well. So I'm sure it's a great product as well.
yeah. All right. So if anyone else has questions, please put that into the Q&A. And we'll answer those. Otherwise, we're going to get back to our questions.
Justin Pierce, I think you're out in his neck of the woods right now, aren't you? Didn't he live out that way?
Yeah, Justin, aren't you in Montana? I think Justin's in Montana. Yeah, I'm not too far away from you. I'm in Casper, Wyoming right now.
Billings, Montana, he says.
Billings, Montana. I love it. Beautiful up there. All right, so next question here, just on the track of how to close more sales with money related benefits. How can I use financing to close more sales?
I mean, we have embedded a financing link with one of our finance companies into our quote templates. We have found that's been the best way to get people to actively navigate the financing world. Um, for us, I feel like selling financing at the table is a little bit difficult. People are a little bit uncomfortable with it. Um, they're nervous that you're going to see something that you shouldn't see, or they're embarrassed because maybe their credit score is not that great, or what have you. So there's a little bit of uncomfort there. So what we did, we embed it in our quote. So even after we leave the kitchen table, they just open their PDF quote. There's a link. They click the link, takes them right to their dashboard for a financing program, and they put that information in. Obviously, we sell it at the kitchen table, but most people we've found are much more likely to fill it out after we leave. So that's been a big thing for us is just leave it there to where it's that door is open as soon as they want to navigate that. So that's worked really well for us. Now, mind you, you can't do that in a lot of quoting softwares. So in ProLine, luckily you can embed a link. as well as a PDF. If you really want to get down to the nitty gritty in financing, you could upload a PDF that explains the steps involved in filling out that financing form, with the link right below it or whatever. You could go that far with it. Um, AJ, I believe you can put a video in there.
We
Is that
just added
correct?
that. You can put videos now inside of ProLine quotes. Um,
So you could literally
yeah,
do a Loom video of how to navigate this financing portal, and with a link right below it to where this is a no-brainer. You walk away from the kitchen table, customer can watch the 30-second clip, and they can be financed. So I think we have not done it yet because I thought it just got released. I didn't want to speak out of turn, but I thought it was pretty fresh. But this winter, that's something we're going to work on, is putting some videos inside of our quote templates.
yep, yep. That's a really cool thing. We're also going to be adding embedding, so you potentially embed your actual finance application into your quote. That's something else we're looking at. So that's going to be really cool.
Yeah,
We haven't tested yet with any providers. Our recommendation for financing providers is always Improvify. I can put that in the chat. Chris Scoville with Improvify. And so I've talked to him a bit about it, especially it already is integrated with ProLine through the link, but potentially having it actually be like the application just being a page in your quote, which would be really cool. So that's the way or where we want to get it to. And we might have
that'd
that
be
here the next
that'd
week or
be quick.
so. Yep.
Oh, you might have it active in the next week or so.
Yeah, we're looking at the just a general embeddability, general like embed, just like we just added video. We're gonna do it the same
Yeah,
way, just have a way to embed a URL or a page into ProLine. And so for financing, that should work. Some websites will block embedding, but we're kind of experimenting with it right now. There's a lot of different use cases for like embedding different sites or links inside of a quote. So.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. All right. So the anonymous question got refined. Would you contact the previous roofing contractor to find out why they stopped accepting solar shingle leads? I still don't quite understand what that question is.
I'm guessing, and I'm just guessing here. Um, there was someone in his market that was doing his or her market that was doing, say, the GAF solar installs and was the
Um,
area's certified contractor, would be my guess, and now is no longer uh, taking on those leads, would be my guess. Absolutely. I network with all my competitors. Some of them don't like me, and some of them my phone calls, but I still I'm definitely not afraid to collaborate or network or look for advice from direct competitors. And I'm not afraid to give it either. So that goes both ways. I'm happy, hell, I get guys that I've fired, some competitor will call me, ask me what I think about it. Well, here's why I got fired, you know, plain and simple. If you want to take him on, absolutely. Or if I had a guy quit because he was pissed at me, and I'll give him the full rundown or anything. I mean, there's no reason to not try to communicate with your competition. There might be a very good reason why that guy said hell with it, and maybe that there's a good reason you don't want to get in on it. He said, "Ding, ding, ding. Thank you."
we got it. You got it figured out, Scott.
You don't speak roofer, AJ.
You
That's the
figured
problem.
I'm not as fluent as you. I'm getting there. All right. Yeah, thanks for the question. That makes total sense now. We got a question here from Jack. We're in Florida and insurance is crazy. It's getting worse. Is it getting worse in your markets too? If so, have you gotten access to any clear information about how carriers underwrite different roof systems? As this has become a central part of homeowner decision making, and we're not, or we don't have good answers.
So in West Virginia, there's almost no insurance value at all. Like they literally, there's no line of sight laws, there's no color match laws, there's nothing. If it blows off the shingle, let's say it blows off 100 shingles, they only have to pay to replace 100 shingles. And that's it. That's literally how it works. They don't care if it's a brown roof and the closest thing's black to match it. They don't give a shit. So there is no, the insurance game is pretty weak in West Virginia. In Ohio, we just don't see the storms. So my knowledge of insurance, I literally sell even the bit we do. I just sell it as a retail job. If you want to get your insurance involved, have at it. And I'm more than happy to meet your adjuster if that's what needs to happen to, show him the damage or whatever's going on. And we'll even go as far as, to pull a shingle for ITEL if that's what they request. But we're not writing exactimates. We're not getting appraisers involved. We're not doing all that stuff. So I'm just not your guy to answer that specific question. Um, just because we just don't have the opportunity to deal with insurance that much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any more information here on this, but I will say I just see an increasing number of contractors that are going towards financing instead of working with the insurance carriers. So just you just let the homeowner deal with the insurance. You just say, hey, like we'll get the roof replaced. We send you the bill, you finance it. You got 12 months same as cash or whatever deal you got set up for them. And then just, hey, like bring the bill to your insurance and say, we already did it. Here's the bill. And then the homeowner can go get the check from the insurance. And then you get paid immediately with the financing. I just see a increasing number of contractors doing that. I don't know. So I just saw John Starry pop in. So maybe John has some insights there because I think he's doing a lot of insurance related work right now in Florida as well. So John, I don't know if you want to chip in on that. Um, the I'm not sure if you guys are doing a lot of financing insurance deals as opposed to just working with the carriers, but I just hear more and more of that for this very reason. It's just getting more and more complicated to work with the carriers, and that's intentional. Oh, so
Oh
John's doing
yeah, for
next to
sure.
no insurance work. So I guess if it's insurance, I would imagine you're just telling them, hey, pay out of pocket and you deal with the insurance company. So um and
Well, and
John
the
is
thing is too,
Florida.
if you think about the amount of effort it takes to get an insurance deal closed, if you go get 12, like I know I've got actually it's through Improvify, I can get I think it's a 12 months, same as cash, um, loan option. And again, don't quote me because I look at way too much shit in a day, but I think it's like a 7% dealer fee, maybe 8% dealer fee, which is a lot. But you think about the legwork that goes in to closing one of these deals. I bet it's, and mind you, in ProLine, you're charging 3.2% for a finance deal. So you're only actually eating about 5% of that job cost. I guarantee you it's costing 5% of that job cost to do all the running, all the navigating. Just don't do that shit. Sell it as retail, offer a 12 months, same as cash. Hey, yeah, we'll meet your adjuster. We'll make sure we document all the damage while we're doing the roof installation, and we'll give that to you to do as you please with and move on. I mean, plus in Florida, my God, you guys got wrecked down there. It's not like work's not plentiful. I mean, there's plenty of homeowners that would absolutely go that route and to get their roof done today and not wait 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of the direction the market's going. So yeah, I mean, I think the complicated thing is you do have a lot of contractors that have their sales reps on like a 10-50-50 split, which is based on this model where the sales rep is working the insurance deal and they're talking insurance, right? And so the
Yeah.
only way it possibly makes sense to pay a sales rep that much on each deal is if they are doing all that work with the insurance. So you can switch it, and I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here. You can switch it and you can go, finance the deals and you can and go heavy retail, but it's tricky. Then you got to go back to all your sales reps in order to actually lock in those benefits to the company. You have to then go back to your sales reps and say, hey, we're paying you less now because the deals are easier, and they're not going to like that. So that makes it hard, I think, to like make
The
a
50-50
switch.
splits on profit. So you take that 5% off the top. You're definitely not going to make as much. Like there's definitely a window there. But how many more jobs could that same sales rep sell in the same amount of time on that model?
Well, what
Because
I
he's
guess,
not spinning these wheels with the same customer. He's hitting four other
yeah,
customers. That
oh,
I'm
true,
with you though.
yeah.
I'm with
But
you. I agree.
one of the biggest benefits of not doing the drawn out insurance model is that you really don't need to pay your sales reps 50% of profit anymore. Like most of the guys
I
that I
agree.
know are not doing that because it's like if the sales reps are just going out getting the deal either financed or paid in cash, there's no talking back and forth the insurance for 3 6 months, then they're not doing the 50-50 split, which makes a healthier, more profitable company. But that's what I'm saying. It's hard to lock in. It still makes sense, but it's harder to go back and do that retroactively than it is to do it from the start. If that, I mean, that's
I
yeah,
agree. I made that switch on one guy because I was bringing on two more and I was paying him off of profit. He got a percentage of profit depending on the margin he hit. His would go up, and we ended up. I switched it and just said it's just a flat 7% off gross sale. I'm done. I'm done doing accounting. I'm done tracking jobs. We still track jobs internally, but I'm not dicking with like for instance this year in returns. I think I don't know, probably got $100,000 worth of returns. You know, well, that's spread across 700 to 800 jobs. I'm not tracking return receipts to see where that $500 goes to make sure he gets his 150. I'm not doing all that. Like
yeah.
the returns just go in the return pile and that's where they sit. That's profit at that point.
It's a much simpler approach. I think I'm kind of like trying to solve the problem that I just brought up. I feel like maybe and I don't know if this is the way you did it with your guy, but maybe you can say like, okay, the 50-50 split was on insurance jobs where you're going after the insurance. Here's a new way you can just get it financed, but on these jobs you're only getting 7% of gross profit. And so you like give them the option maybe, but then
Yeah.
but I guarantee you the sales rep doesn't want to do all that back and forth. Like with the anonymous the they chipped in and said it's a crazy amount of time spent chasing the insurance for the initial re-roofing and then the supplemental requests after the completed project. I mean, it is. It's a ton of time. It's a ton of time. And the one of the crazy things that I always think about is that when you look at the car insurance world, the same thing that roofing contractors are doing with insurance, for home insurance, it's literally pretty much a 1-to-1 on the car insurance for accidents, right? You're going after the insurance to get that covered, that cost covered. So it's a very, very similar system. Only in the car insurance world, you have attorneys that went to law school for years and they're the ones working these deals with the insurance company because they essentially have to bully the insurance company into paying. But on the roofing side, you have, you know, 19-year-olds with minimal training that are trying to work with the insurance company. So the thing is, I think it's kind of crazy that it's been even possible up to this point. And the insurance companies are now realizing like, oh, if we just make it as hard on the home insurance side as we do on the car insurance side, none these guys aren't going to be able to get these deals through, and we can save a ton of money, right? So the insurance company's trying to get smart on it.
Yeah. I agree. I
Um,
don't think that in the next 10 years we're going to be looking at uh, re-roofs through insurance nearly the same way as we have been the previous 10. I think too many, the problem too is contractors take such advantage of it. I've looked into some of this supplementing shit. It is mind-boggling. The profit that some of these contractors are making by supplementing absolute bullshit. And it's like, I get it. It's there for the taking. So, it's not like it's a crime or it's wrong to do. But at the same time, I mean, you're going to bite the hand that feeds you one of these times, and it's going to stop. I mean, they're not going to just take losses just so you stay profitable. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I think at some point there's going to be a big shift in that whole market.
Well, I think we're seeing it now.
Yeah.
It's over. Like we're on the. I think it's been shifting for the last 2 years, and it's just going to keep shifting.
Yeah.
So it's just changing more and more. This next question: do you have an accuracy KPI for your estimator, like a percentage of actual variance from budget? Yes, built into the ProLine budgets is. Are you using that, Scott? Where you
Yep.
can see the variance? Yeah. So we show the percentage of variance across a lot of different metrics, not just from on the cost standpoint, but also like, revenue. Did you collect less revenue than expected? So there's like three different things that we show variance on in the budget at the end. Anything else to add to that, Scott?
No, no, that was pretty much it.
Okay. All right. So any other questions you guys have, please hit us with those. We'll go back to our list for a question, but if you guys want to jump in with anything, please hit us with something new. All right. Got a question here. This question is, what's the best way to follow up with prospects without being too pushy?
I mean, we do it strictly through automation. So, text and email, primarily text. Um, and they're just polite text messages like, "Hey, Mr. Smith, just checking in to see that you got a quote and wondering if you had any questions for me that I could answer." Just very broad, open-ended questions to where hopefully it triggers, a response where that's the goal. The biggest thing with follow-up is to get a response, and it's the hardest thing to do. Um, Most people are, for some reason, don't like to respond. They've got your quote, they've got the number, they don't really want to talk anymore. They want to gather their three bids or whatever. And then once they've gathered it and they've had some family time to dwell on it, then they'll respond to somebody. But we just want to continue that conversation very cordially, not real pushy, just, "Hey, anything I can help you with? By the way, if that roof starts leaking, let us know. We can always come out and do an emergency tarp at no cost to you. Just little touch points along the way. Um, we space our automations out kind of gradually. So like the first one goes out 24 hours after it sends. Just, hey, just making sure you got our quote. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out. Just a real simple thing. And then it's like 3 days later, and then 5 days later, and then 10 days later, something like that. And that, mind you, ours goes on for 2 years, but they get to where they're like 30 to 60 days apart. So they get really, really spread out in time. But yeah, I mean, just very open-ended, cordial questions, nothing real fancy.
Yeah. So we have a lot of stuff pre-written in ProLine, but you reworked all those messages, I believe, for your account. And you had some interesting strategies there with how you rewrote
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. So what we did, honestly, the ones in ProLine that are stock out of the box are really good. They work. I mean, we used them for quite a while back during the old legacy version of ProLine. We were using the bot Alex templates. This year, but we did notice like our response rate just wasn't real good. Like it was okay, but we weren't getting a ton of response. So we just went in and I just went through each campaign and each message, and I just took the exact same message. I just typed it the way I would say it personally. And then I threw in some grammatical errors or a typo or I misspelled some shit, like some real stupid spelling errors. And they look like I text you because I misspell shit all the time. And I don't put periods where they're supposed to go or commas where they're supposed to go. So,
Yeah.
so it literally looks like we're texting you because let's just be honest, anything that's automated is usually perfect. Like there's usually, everything where it's supposed to be. But in real life, I mean, no, most of the time I text. I've gotten better about texting. My grammar and my punctuation's gotten better over the time, but there's always typos and errors. So, we made sure to throw some of those errors into the automations to where they look very, very legitimate. What we saw was our response rate just skyrocket. We get responses almost all the time. Not all the time. Every customer, though, that we deal with, within the second or third automated follow up, we get a response almost every time through that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
They feel
Yeah.
obligated because they feel like a real person's texting them. They feel obligated to at least respond like, hey, fuck off, or hey, quit bothering, or, you know what I mean? Like at bare minimum, they at least give you one of those. So,
Yeah.
and that's fine. We want that too, because then we can turn you off. We can throw you in a rehash campaign for a later date to rehash you. We don't want to keep pestering you if you don't want us to pester you, but we do want to just be responded to, so we know where you're at. If this is something that we can still consider a hot lead, or if this is something that is a cold lead.
Yep. Yep. The yeah, and I think that's genius. I've considered going back and rewriting our base campaigns to have like grammatical errors, but then I feel like people are just going to be like, "Oh, this company is crazy." If
God
they
damn, these
just
guys are a bunch of dumbasses.
yeah, I feel like our templates, our pre-written templates do have to be perfect, but it's such an awesome strategy that I fully because here's the thing, even because ProLine, we use ProLine for ourselves. Like we're the only non-contractor that uses ProLine. But we've rewritten all of our templates, of course, because they have to be completely different than roofing for software. But all of our templates are similar in that regard. Like they don't have like the punctuation is off, and some misspellings. Like they're meant to be as conversational as possible, and it really works. It works so well.
Yep,
So that's yeah, it's the more you can, more natural, more conversational because of how are already sending those text messages through each person's phone number. It's just you can't even tell they're automated if they have one of those a little bit of character to them. So I think that's awesome.
that's a
Definitely.
good way to put it. Character, I like that.
Yeah, you got some character in there. So all right. If you guys got any other questions, please put those in the Q&A at the bottom of Zoom. We will happily answer those. We're here to answer your questions. Otherwise, we're gonna keep going through our own. So let me pull another one up here. We're kind of on a sales kick here. We'll just keep it on sales. Is it worth it to build local partnerships in our community for leads?
Oh yeah, I mean it's key. Like, so something we've been working on to the end of this year that we're going to really, really try to conquer through the winter is basically free advertising. So referral partners and social media. We grew our Facebook page 500 followers in a week, um, 2 weeks ago. And what we did was reaching out to referral partners. So we reached out to some friends that were realtors or things like that, whatever it was. We're like, hey, um, we'd like to network with you a little bit, but something we're trying to do. Like a friend of mine runs a landscaping company. A friend of mine owns a gym in town. So those are two I reached out to right away. We obviously already refer each other in the moment, but what we did was we even took it up further. I invited my entire friends list to follow the gym's page. I invited my entire friends list to follow the landscaping company. They returned the favor. In doing so, our social media grew 500 followers in a week. So we're at 2.8 all winter long. Like my goal is to try to get to 10,000 followers this winter just by networking with other local companies. And in doing that, now those guys are going to, they're going to see your stuff more because one, they have to follow your page to be able to do that, right? So now they're going to see your stuff. You're going to kind of stay top of mind, and vice versa. You're going to always remember that one landscaping guy or that one plumber or that one HVAC guy because you follow their page now, so their stuff's going to show up in your news feed. So, yeah, I mean, and then even just the local networking without social media. I mean, you got to have it. Like a ton of our business is done through local community outreach stuff. We do work for the county. We give some stuff away each year, different promotional things through some different stuff, like adoption agencies and stuff like that we try to help out with. And in turn, the county always lets us bid their work. They always are promoting us to the people that work at the county, just all that stuff. So it's always good to be very relevant in your community.
Yep. That makes perfect sense. Do you find that the best thing is just sort of an equal exchange, or do you have anything set up where you actually pay some of these partners on a per lead basis or anything?
No, we don't. I've discussed with you some thoughts I've had about doing something like that. Currently, no. There is no paid model of it. But I do think if you can get them to invite their entire friends list to follow your Facebook page, it does have some sort of testament to them being a real referral partner. They're not worried about their other buddy that's a roofing contractor getting pissed off at them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so I think that kind of holds a little bit of weight to where you can feel confident that they're going to refer you. It's just got to, but it's got to go both ways. So I think you have to also initiate that and try to refer those people to your customers for their services.
yeah, yeah, you have to reciprocate. Yeah, it makes sense. Got a good question here. If your core offering is roofing, what's the most obvious service extension for the average roofer in the average market? Gutters, siding, pressure washing, or Christmas lights? Jumping from residential to commercial or vice versa? What have you seen as far as successes and failures in these kinds of strategies?
Yeah, gutters is an easy one. I mean, that's obviously kind of unfortunately it almost is like required. I mean, if you're doing roofing and not doing gutters, you're probably missing opportunities on roofing. So many customers feel that if they buy one, they want to buy the other, and they want to buy them from the same guy. We tried to quit selling gutters altogether last year, and we definitely lost a little bit of work because of it. So we did bring it back on. We offer siding, but it's because we have a killer siding crew. So siding's another easy one to offer. The pressure washing and Christmas lights, there's two problems I have with it. Pressure washing to me is just it's a very low ticket item. Um, so it's kind of and it doesn't really go with the rest of the project. I mean, unless you built like a pressure washing division where you had a guy in a truck and a pressure washing trailer followed your roofing crews around and you sold it for an extra, add $1,000 to the job and we'll pressure wash your house after we roof it. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. Christmas lights is too seasonal. I don't like we got snow today, but we've pretty much been working right up to the 1st of December. And I mean, most people that do Christmas lights, I swear that like my wife, they're putting them up at the beginning of November now. So it's like they just keep getting put up earlier and earlier. And we're hot and heavy in the roofing. Usually we're hot and heavy in the roofing season, clear up till January, which we still are this year because it's actually we roofed all weekend this past weekend and Monday. We took Tuesday and Wednesday off due to weather. but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then all of next week looks like good roofing weather. So we'll be roofing, those next 7 to 8 days. So I'm not going to take time away from putting roofs on to go hang Christmas lights because one, we're not good at it. We've never done it, so it's just going to probably be, kind of a pain in the ass to get started in. So we'll just not offer it for it's just I can't imagine it's a very high ticket item either for the amount of effort that it's going to take. The last piece of that question on commercial to residential. So we're primarily a residential contractor. When we get into commercial, it's usually what I would call light commercial. So it's um, you know, doctors' offices that have shingle roofs or, you know, uh, we've done some schools like small, like we did do some Christian schools that are a little smaller private schools. The heavy commercial is going to be like warehouses and big industrial type buildings. We don't really get into that. We tried, and that is a whole nother beast. And it's just not the same. It's long projects. You're going to be there for, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Um, Lots of, obviously you're going to deal with rainstorms during the install for sure. There's just a lot. You've got project managers on the job, you got superintendents, you've got different staff from the company you're working for in and out of the job, just in the road safety. Like we're I say we don't do it. We're doing it's a simple building, but we're doing it for oil and gas company. So my guys, we have to wear FRs on the site. We have to do a safety training every morning. So there's a lot. We try to stay out of it. We put the margin on that thing at like a 60% gross margin. So we got it. We've sold it. We're doing it like right before Christmas. But regardless, that's not. Everybody thinks that that's an easy shift. That's not an easy shift. It's a different business entirely, in my opinion. So, um, residential is not easy either because there's a lot of homeowners to deal with. They're just different. It's not one's easier than the other. If you're set up to run commercial projects where you've got project managers, you've got maybe a safety man on staff, maybe you've got job site superintendents, whatever. Maybe then that's the route to go. But for us, we have sales reps that take everything cradle to grave. They don't have time to sit on the job site, man the job site, make sure hard hats are on the whole time, all that stuff. So it's not for us, but gutters and siding, if you can train guys to do siding is very easy. It's not hard. Um, and it comes at a pretty high ticket usually. So we do like selling some siding.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to think anything. I mean, I think you pretty much covered everything there. Um, there is a like rejuvenation.
Yeah,
That is one. Like roof. Did you ever look into that?
I've tried, but I'm not getting anywhere with it. Yeah, I I still haven't been made a believer yet. Let me say that. So,
Either.
if it seals the shingles back down, then I would be a believer. But I believe it only adds pliability to the shingle, which doesn't really fix the problem that they still blow up during a rainstorm and get rain underneath of the shingle. So,
Yeah.
but I could be wrong. Maybe there's one out there that's doing that now. If there is, I would love to know about it.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. All right, so well, let's go ahead and wrap up there. Sorry guys about the shut off. I don't know what happened there, so probably need to reset up this webinar completely. I think it still says 8:30 when you log into it, so I'm gonna work on that. But thanks everybody for joining and for all the questions, and we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah.